Call to order, adoption of agenda, 2.1 recommendation that council adopts the agenda as presented. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Adoption of minutes, 3.1 recommendation that council adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting held on December 1st, 2021. Can I get a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Introduction of late items. As per section 91G of the Community Charter, litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality. Can I get a second on that? Okay, no public hearings, delegation none, unfinished business arising from the minutes. New business, 8.1 recommendation that council receives the staff report and the attached fireside report of information and discussion, and that council hear the presentation from Ernie Folsom of Firewise Consulting Limited.
Hey guys. This is just from the firewall across the road. We've got some gift cards, but none of us want them.
Oh, well, thank you.
There you go.
Want to sit here and visit with us?
No, we're good. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
See you later.
Okay, he's on. Can I have a seconder?
Second.
Who's seconding that?
I'll second that.
So is he on, Sandy?
Who?
You're seconding?
Ernie, are you there?
I sure am.
There he is.
Unmute.
You're on. I am unmuted.
So, okay, so. Go ahead, Ernie.
Sorry, can you hear me okay?
We can.
Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great, thank you. First, your worship, council administration, my apologies. I am in sunny downtown New Denver in the Slocan Valley, and apparently there's no internet here tonight. So I apologize for not having a face and a presence in your meeting.
Well, you can always email us a picture.
That doesn't, however, affect the ability to present the report. First, thank you very much for your confidence in Firewise Consulting to do this review. This is a bit of a unique review because frequently we're called in when the fire department is not functioning particularly well. And in your case, that's far from the truth, actually. So first off, what's the fire service review? It really is just a point-in-time snapshot of where your fire protection system, including your fire department, sits. It looks at all aspects of the fire department and the other fire protection pieces in play in your community. It links we link our observations to things like legislation, standards, and industry best practices to see where your fire department and where your fire protection system fits in the overall scheme of things. It really is generally used as a baseline for strategic planning, kind of master plans and that sort of stuff. And it very often, in this case, it does contain recommendations. Please yell if you can't hear me or if you can't understand. This will be a fairly short presentation because I'm far more interested in answering your questions than me talking all night. So the things that we learned as we worked with the fire department and the village was that you have a very well managed fire department. You need to be quite proud of it. I was absolutely impressed with the fire chief. There are vanishingly few fire chiefs who truly understand how to effectively delegate and lead their staff. And your chief is one of those few. I was very, very, very impressed with the work he's done. There's a great morale and attitude with the firefighters. They're absolutely committed to your village and absolutely committed to delivering the best possible services they can to your community and your residents. I was really impressed with the creativity of the department and looking broadly at recruiting and how to flesh out the ranks. Frankly, with your small population, it's a really tough thing to staff an entire fire department out of that small population base. They've reached out and they've been very creative and brought some absolutely amazing firefighters into your organization. The main station is very well built, although there's some opportunities to add a little bit of space to that to make it work better and address some occupational health and safety issues. You receive extremely good value from your regional partnerships. The level of service that you enjoy as a village is significantly enhanced by your participation in the regional partnerships and regional service delivery programs that you're currently involved with. And I was absolutely impressed with, as a matter of fact, if your chief wasn't working for you, I'd be looking to recruit him to work for me. I was really impressed with their health and safety program. Spot on, great SOPs, clear understanding what those operational procedures and processes are about. They've done a great job of starting to pull together operational guidelines to guide the fire department, and they have a really good health and safety program. And more importantly, they have buy-in right throughout the fire department into their health and safety program. So I'm really impressed with that. There are some challenges that exist. Your service level clarity needs some work. Council needs to spend a little time and sort out what is it that in fact we want our fire department to deliver. What are the services and what services do they need to deliver? What do we do about the services that are out of scope, and how are we going to deliver those? Who's going to come in if we have the major hazardous material that right in front of the little restaurant on that sharp corner coming into town? What happens there? It won't be your fire department dealing with the hazmat of it. They can't. They're not trained nor equipped for that. That's some conversations that need to happen at the council level. Staffing capacity, both from your firefighters and from your management staff, is a real issue. And I would argue it's probably a challenge across the entire organization. You've got folks that are working flat out. You've got volunteers that are stepping up and working a remarkable number of hours to meet the administrative needs of your fire department. You're going to have to come to terms with that and figure out how do we better support them. Do you really want your volunteers doing all that administration work, or are there opportunities to take some of that load off them so they can focus on their training and their operational duties? And then finally, although it's down on the list a little bit, is the facility shortfall. There are some gaps in your fire station related to accessibility for residents. With the addition of the RCMP into the building, the access to the fire chief's office, there really is no place for folks that can't make it up the steps to gain access to the chief. There's no real meeting space or training space that's purpose built for that. There's a number of things that we note in the report. I think it's important for council to recognize a couple of things that we identified. First off is your budget costs are, particularly when you take into account what you recovered from the regional district, is quite similar to other jurisdictions. There's nothing out of line with what you're paying for fire protection. Smaller jurisdictions pay more per capita for fire protection than large. Until you get into the career department. It just is a mathematical thing. So you're absolutely consistent with your comparators. Your fleet and equipment is appropriate to the functions that you've determined appropriate for your fire department. Your health and safety program, I'm going to tell you right now, is leading practice for a small organization. We stand to their honor. They're doing a great job. Recruitment and retention of volunteers is a national and international challenge. We recently did a project in Armenia where they're struggling to attract volunteers. The folks that they're looking to for volunteer firefighters are the same folks that have to leave the country to find work and earn a living for their families, which is quite remarkably similar to what we have to do in this country. So we've provided a number of recommendations. Most of them, honestly, are about enhancing already good processes. The training recommendations and things like that, that's an administrative level discussion that needs to happen. And it's more intended to simplify the work so they can achieve it and achieve good results. It's not a question of whether they're doing a good job right now or not. In terms of governance at your level, you really do need to sit down and have a conversation about service level policies. Your current service levels are very vague, and they put all of the responsibility on the fire department to sort out what is it.
Hello?
They're going to do.
Sorry, Ernie, we lost you there.
Yeah. Sorry, the service level policy?
Did you guys hear that?
No.
Service,
There?
yeah, service levels.
So your bylaw lays out some very vague and very general direction in terms of the services that the fire department may deliver. It really doesn't provide any defined direction, and we've included in there a kind of a sample that on the Alberta side of the border is quite broadly used, that walks through the various services and the implication for training equipment and that sort of thing. So that's a really important conversation, and frankly, it's very much at the council level discussion. If you leave it to your fire department, they'll kill themselves trying to achieve the broad fleet of services that they think that the community needs, that they know the community needs. You need to help them by figuring out what's the stuff that we need to deliver as a small jurisdiction, what's our regional responsibilities within our agreement, and what's the stuff that's fully out of scope and we're going to have to contract or mutual aid or whatever to achieve. I think from a council perspective, recommendation 3 talks about regional services. You get phenomenal value out of that regional agreement. And it's our observation there needs to be an awful lot more conversation using the steering committee that's already a part of your agreement with the regional district. There needs to be an awful lot more conversation there about services, service levels. How do you attain those? How do you determine what those are going to be? Who pays for those? Some of those services are far more interesting for the regional district than they are for the village. If the fire department's going to be a part of that, then maybe the regional district needs to be picking up more of those costs.
Did Blair explain to you that we have an MOU working on at the regional district for medical? Because,
sorry?
Well, we do medical here and we don't get paid for it, right? It's just the taxpayers are paying for it.
Right.
And the regional district wanted to partner up with us and do an MOU on the medical service.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about is there's some real opportunity to have conversations with the regional district and be on more of a regional system than just a village system, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's opportunities to help you manage your costs, but also to really have some, is this the services that we want our little village fire department to deliver? If so, you're going to have to resort to them.
Well, doesn't that bring people?
A regional.
Doesn't that bring people to the village?
For those that are receiving the service.
But wouldn't that bring people to the village having all those services?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Wouldn't that bring people to the village having all those services? Fire department, medical, police?
Nope.
You're gone.
Or sharing service with the regional district. We're just suggesting that there's an opportunity to have a broader conversation there.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's your fire department, and ultimately council makes the decision on what those services and service levels are. Because ultimately, you're responsible to the ratepayers of Scooby in terms of are they getting the service from their fire department that they want. And then I guess the last one that I'll touch on before I open it to questions is the fire station. You have a really nice fire station, and all of the existing elements are just fine. There is a need for an improved training area, and some work safety required spaces for decontamination showers and accessible washrooms. So we're suggesting in there that you start to plan for an addition to that building. You've got the space, you've got the land. It's just a matter of sorting out what that space looks like and how big that would be. The rest of the recommendations, like I say, are really building on the great work that's already underway. We didn't make any specific recommendations in terms of firefighter recruitment retention, because frankly, your fire department's doing a pretty good job. If we were going to do a master plan, a strategic plan for council, I would argue that we would then have a recommendation there for you that talks about really making some significant decisions related to to adding management capacity and focus on volunteer recruitment and retention. Small things, right? Small benefits that you can offer that are meaningful to the members of the fire department that shows their value, that shows the appreciation, are really important. Ongoing conversations with your firefighters and your fire chief about how you can make it, you as council can help make it easier for them to be members. Understanding a little bit more about the business that they do, that sort of stuff, I think is something that would go in. It should be a part of council's strategic plan moving forward. So that's kind of where we're at with the presentation, and I'm open to questions.
What about charging the insurance companies for the fires? What do you think about that?
I'm sorry.
Charging the insurance companies for the fires? Like house fires?
Yeah, that can be done. It's absolutely. It's up to council to determine whether you're going to charge the residents for firefighting service, certainly within your purview.
Well, it's already on your insurance
most
policies.
Insurance companies, most insurance companies do have a cost recovery piece. At the end of the day, council needs to would need to make a decision as to do they want to look at cost recovery for the services that the residents receive.
Oh, Danielle?
With the insurance, like charging their home insurance though, would the insurance cover a fire department fighting the whole fire? Like what would happen, like my home insurance, I do have fire coverage, but would that cover my house being saved, or would that cover them until I run out of money and then they'd all be sent home? How does that work?
Most of the insurance premiums have some consideration for firefighting fees. Keep in mind, not all of your residents have insurance, so
that's important.
You would have to figure out how you're going to handle that. There are certainly limits to coverage. I'm not an insurance expert, but there are limits to coverage for firefighting fees.
I think that would be my only.
Well,
Yeah,
we would
like-
set a limit.
Yeah.
We would set the price, right? Bart?
And I'm sorry, that's a little out of scope. Like a review really looks at your current situation and your current fire department. We weren't asked. That's more of a strategic planning piece. What does that cost recovery piece look like, and what are our options, and how might we approach that?
Okay. Bart?
Is this common to have a fire department? I know we have an excellent fire department that excel in everything, but the standards that they have at our fire department, is that province-wide for a municipality with 320 houses? Is this, or is that the standards for our fire department set by this council?
I'm struggling to hear, there's quite an echo from there. But I'm hearing you properly. I saw nothing surprising in your fire station in terms of equipment of your budget or your firefighting staff. It seemed completely reasonable for the, it's not so much just the population. You've got a major highway running right through the part of your community. You've got a regional district contract that pays for 37 or 38% of your operating budget that has specific service requirements. I saw nothing out of the ordinary or out of.
So it's up, is it up to the BC Fire? Is it up to the BC Fire Act that we have our standards as they are set, or according to what our municipality wants our fire department to be?
So the Fire Services Act only really speaks to your requirement to do fire.
Could you repeat that?
We can't hear.
Oh, it's switched.
Sorry?
You keep switching back and forth. Go ahead.
No, sorry, the Fire Service Act really doesn't speak to the local authorities' fire departments. They don't speak to service levels. The only thing they require municipalities to do really in terms of fires is inspect public access buildings. So they really don't talk about your services. When I look at the training and when I look at what Chief is doing and with.
You went out again.
I'm sorry, but this is very difficult.
Sorry?
You went out again. Go ahead. Are you there?
Sorry, yeah, I'm here. I struggle to hear and I'm trying to interpret what your concerns are.
Oh, I did. You just stopped in the middle of it, and Barb was talking. So go ahead, Barb.
Oh, I'm just finding it hard
Okay.
to get questions back because of the internet service too. I think I've got the basic answer.
Yeah, it's actually the microphone at your end is challenging.
Oh, nice. Continue.
So anyhow, yeah. So because I've got 5 bars on my cell service right now. I don't have internet, but I do have good cell service. So I saw nothing surprising, nothing out of the ordinary. I thought your fire department was properly formed for the jurisdiction and service levels that they understand them. I do think that there's opportunities to have a proper conversation, certainly between the administration and council, and very likely with the regional district to determine what services they're looking for.
So you would do this as strategic plan? You would do that for us, or
I would do it.
you would do it? And how much does that
Sorry,
cost?
I don't understand.
Do you do the help us do our bylaws and stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's a fairly straightforward process, not difficult at all, and it's, what's really awesome about that is it encouraged everybody to have a conversation and maybe get rid of some of the misunderstandings.
Okay. What is it called? What did you call that?
Strategic plan.
Master plan.
Master plan, that's what it was. So what does council think?
Yeah, it,
I think we receive it for information and discuss it at budget time.
Okay. Are you done with us? Or do you have more to tell
pardon
us?
me?
Are you done with us, or do you have more to
No,
tell us?
I'm here to answer, yeah, I'm here to answer your question. The good news here is though, that we've done all the heavy lifting. So it's not a particularly expensive process. We'd likely be looking at a couple of workshops. It can be done online, and I will be at home with good internet. It's a fairly straightforward process to work through that.
So the master plan, would that include the regional district as well?
That's ultimately your decision. I think it should personally, but at the end of the day, that's your decision.
Okay. What do you guys think? Master plan for budget time, or?
Yeah, something to look at least discuss at budget time.
Well,
and then
before budget time.
or leading up to, yeah.
Yeah, like I think it would also be nice to like hear from our fire chief really about like how much time is he struggling to meet with. I know in here it says 20% of his time is as a fire chief and then 80% is as a foreman. So how much added time is he looking to have on to the fire chief role? And just really get like a better layout. Like I read this whole thing and it is from a third party point of view. So it would be really, really nice to sit down with the fire chief and the volunteer firefighters and just get a real layout of what they're wanting to see as well prior to us, making this big master plan. Because I just feel that would kind of give us all a better idea as well.
Well, ideally, when we do a master plan, they'd be involved in the conversation.
Yeah, well,
They're the key drivers for that.
even like,
So are we done with him? So,
I think I'm good. I don't
are you
know.
guys have any more questions for him?
No,
No?
it's very hard with him.
So, because the internet isn't very good, we're gonna have a meeting with you probably in the spring, if that's okay?
Okay, that would be wonderful. I would look forward to that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas and best of the season to everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you.
Merry Christmas. I do have a
Take
question.
care.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
question on the fire department report.
When we get to it.
Is that, I thought that was included in this part.
8.2 recommendation that council approved registration cost for mayor and council up to $249 to attend the virtual BC Natural Resource Forum, January 18th to the 20th, 2021. Can I get a seconder?
I'm sorry.
Second?
Lori, could we move back to the fireside report thing? Could we set up a time where we could all meet with our fire chief and our volunteer firefighters just to, like, I know that the master plan would have like a full-blown conversation, but I feel that if we all go into this master plan deciding conversation, nothing's going to get decided because we haven't had the opportunity for everybody to sort of flesh out what the fire department and what the chief are, what their expectations are versus what the council's also thinking as well.
So you want a special meeting?
Yes, yeah.
When would you like that special meeting?
When can we have it?
Next year.
In the new
Sometime
year.
before budget.
I would definitely like to have it before our budget meeting.
Oh, yes, we have.
Yeah. Is that something that we could look into doing in February or January, sorry?
We started in February.
February?
Budget, so the best bet is to the end of January is when we would do it.
Is that something, Blair, I know that you're sitting over there.
Blair, are you okay with that?
Are you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just think it would be so great for us all to sit down and really listen to what your guys' expectations are, and then also give us the chance to voice our concerns and, different things too, right? I really think right now we have us talking and then them talking and then us talking, there's a lot of miscommunication going on. So I think it would be so great to get us all in the same room. Could we plan that towards the end of January?
Did you create a calendar?
I have my phone. We thinking, so our next council meeting is the one on the 5th, so the 19th, and then February 2nd. So kind of between those two, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It can be before February, it can be before January 19th if you want it.
Okay.
It's not a problem.
Any particular day that works?
10th.
10th? Okay.
Is that a Wednesday? or-
That's
It's
the
a
Monday. That's
training
January.
day.
That's training day.
The 12th is
so
a,
the 12th.
is a Wednesday.
Hold on.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I can get the
Is it
question Friday.
easier for all the firefighters if we do it on a training day though? Is that easier for you guys all meeting rather than them coming out multiple times?
We can change the date if it works better for you guys, because I think that, I'm 100%, I think that we have to get together.
Yeah,
For sure.
I would really like that, yeah.
The whole
So the
department?
10th, you're okay?
What?
The 10th?
Yes, the whole
Yeah.
department. I think everybody should have an opportunity to speak. Right.
Marty?
It is COVID and having a group of people all
We'll go
gathered
over
to
there, we'll be in the
discuss
fire
things.
department. We can go over to the fire department where there's more space.
At this point in time, I would have the meeting outside. I just think the meeting needs to happen. We'll do it in the parking lot if it's that big of a deal.
In January? It'll be a real short meeting.
Yeah, you know what? They'll all wear their firefighter gear.
Turnout gear for everybody.
Okay, point of order. Blair, can we move the fire trucks out of the hall and have it there? Have the
If it's not
discussion
too
there?
cold, we can, or we can put the trucks down at Public Works for a couple of hours, and, we can make arrangements.
I just want it noted here, this picture of all of this, the fire department. I don't think we should use it anymore as my fellow council member has got a portfolio for the fire department and it's kind of looks unbiased with him in uniform with all the fire department. I just want that,
Yeah.
Which page is that?
a new picture.
What page is it?
It's on the introduction page.
Huh?
Yeah, I think it's a stock photo from like 2015, 2016.
But people looking at it.
At the time of the picture though,
I was a member
he
of the fire
was
department.
not a member of council.
I'm well aware of that.
So, should we do the 10th or the 12th? What are we all thinking? Either one works for.
The 12th.
Okay, so special meeting January 12th. Mark it in your calendar there, fire chief.
Can I have a seconder on that?
I'll second that.
Any more discussion on it? All in favor?
That was January 12th.
January.
Yeah, thank you. I think I said February, sorry.
8.2 recommendation that council approve registration costs for mayor and council up to $249 to attend the virtual BC Natural Resource Forum, January 18th, 20th, and 21st. Can I get a seconder?
Second?
Discussion? Any?
I've never attended this. Do you guys generally like attend these?
I do, yeah.
You do, okay.
And one council member.
Okay. And they
You can
should,
drive, it used to be you drove down there,
okay,
but now it's,
with the COVID and stuff.
yeah, it's virtual. So if you want to attend, you can. Thanks, Blair.
Thank you.
Any discussion? There's no bookings.
I know, sorry.
62.
Yes. Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
No one wants to attend? You don't wanna attend now?
8.3 recommendation that council authorize the CFO to dispose of the 212 Ram 1500 pickup. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Where is he taking it to, the auction, or just gonna put it on the G?
I believe he says he's doing it by sealed bid, so yeah, kind of the way we did those parts. Remember, we had all those parts at Public Works that we put up for auction?
Is it gonna be site as is, where is?
Yeah, I don't know all
Like,
the
so we don't
details,
have to
sorry.
reimburse anybody?
Yes, it would be here. As he says, he wants to do it by sealed bid, so people can just submit their bids, and whoever wins comes and gets it.
As is. And I got a second on that, did I?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor? 8.4 recommendation that council approve administration to proceed with the document shredding for December 2021 as present in the list. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion?
I did make a note that the accounts payable 2014. Mayor, do you think we should hold off shredding those
Yeah. I think we should hold off on the 14 ones.
for the accounts payable?
Yeah, that I do. All in favor?
Yeah, I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Now, recommendation that council receive the correspondence from the Pooskoopi Library forward for discussion. Councillor Beach to speak on this.
Second.
Can I have a seconder? Barb?
All right, so Courtney at the public library reached out to, what was her name again, sorry? Reached out to Denise, who is one of the top librarians of the governing. It's a very, very long name. Anyway, so basically what it is that Courtney's having a really difficult time finding local residents to sit on the library board. And she has been reaching out to the community for months, years. She's down to 3. And so now as I'm not part of the library board as a member anymore, I was the 4th and I'm now acting liaison, and so she is down another person. We used to have 7 members, but over time people have moved, people have relocated, and we are having a hard time bringing people in.
So can we go outside the village?
So that's what she reached out to Denise for. So she basically asked Denise, based off of the municipality map, she asked if there is a way where the library board could vote on reaching out, and Denise got back to her and said that that is actually up to us as council to vote on, to put the motion forward that Courtney be allowed to go outside of the municipality to bring in new board members.
So that's your motion.
That's the motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's 3 on the board. How many do you have on the board now?
3.
3.
And how long have you had the 3?
One is coming up on 7 years.
No, how long has it been only 3 people?
Oh, since I left, so since September.
And with you there, on September, you only had 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many do you need to have a legal board?
I think the amount due to COVID, they've kind of changed a lot of that, so I would have to get back to you on that. I don't actually know currently. I know that there's been a lot of changes to quorum for meetings and stuff. I think it is 3, the whole quorum. 3 or 4.
Okay, but is it, okay.
As I said, I would have to get back to you on that.
If we reached out to surrounding area,
Mm-hmm.
we would have to switch from a municipal library to a public library. Our library act would have to be changed. So people would be sitting on our library board from outside our boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I have an issue with that because what what ways has the library reached out trying to find volunteers to sit on the library board? Because I have seen nothing on Facebook. There's nothing on the village page saying that the library board would like members. I haven't seen anything.
So,
The municipality changes, or the thing changes like?
I don't know. I'm reading that here and it doesn't
Two
say
different acts.
anything about that. That is something I can definitely look into. I know Courtney did have a conversation with Denise, and Denise never mentioned to her that they would be changing from a municipal library to just a regular public. She didn't mention anything about that. She said that she would be working with the municipality, bringing members, whether they're in the municipality or out.
This has been discussed previously in previous years.
Yeah, and it changed. I know one of the residents outside of Gooskoopy that would like to be on the board.
Courtney has about 3 interested that are outside of.
Yeah. Maureen?
There is no one representing the library board here, and it would be really nice if they brought this forward into council. And I think this should be.
Well, this is why I always ask for them to come every 6 months or 3 months to let us know what was going on. And now,
Well, if this is a situation that they're in, it would be really nice if they brought forward what they're facing. I mean, it's nice that a council liaison brings forward what it is, but they should really be here to explain.
so you want to have Courtney and the other librarians, or library board come to council?
Not, Courtney doesn't have to come, but I mean, their board, a member of their board should be here and presenting what their problems are.
Yeah.
It was my understanding that the reason why the chair has not come is due to COVID. She wasn't aware that the public could come in or anything.
We've had delegations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we had our fire chief here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can always approach them and see if Zoom is a option. I know the
Sure.
internet from her home can be a bit of an issue, but that is something where we can.
But we can make the option that she
Yeah.
can be.
Yeah.
So can you do that? So we will
Yeah.
make that motion that you will bring
Okay.
council back, or librarian back, or chair back.
Yeah.
Somebody back here. to
Yes,
tell us
I will,
what's going
yeah,
on.
I will bring I'll
Can I-
bring Ruby back here and,
Can I have a seconder on that?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay. 8.6 recommendation that council received a letter from the city of Dawson Creek regarding co-hosting the 2023 NCLGA AGM with the city of Dawson Creek for discussion. Can I get a second?
Second.
I have one quick question. Have we heard from the city on helping us do the July 1st?
No, it doesn't go to their council meeting until the 20th.
Okay.
This would probably require a cost, a fee to co-host. It's probably $2,500, $5,000. I just want council to,
I think we need a tally of how much it's going to cost.
In 2016, the village participated with a $2,500 donation.
Okay.
That is what you guys put in for the 2016 one.
Yeah, but I want to know about July 1st first,
Okay, so it won't be till after the new year that we do.
so we can table it.
Okay.
Okay. Can I get a seconder on table it?
Uh,
All in
The
agreement?
I'm sorry.
What was that?
The reason I brought it forward right away is because they wanted us to get back to them before January 3rd.
Okay. And maybe they'll get their little butts in gear and give us our information.
Okay.
Recommendation, correspondence, that council received a report for November 2021 for the Gooskoopy Volunteer Fire Department for information. Is that what you want, Barb?
second, no. That doesn't
Well, tell Larry's doing a good job. The dog officer, I had a call today, or yesterday, that a dog was being tied up at -22 for over 2 hours outside its house, and she tried to reach the bylaw officer, and he didn't get back to her till 9 o'clock this morning. She left a message.
When did she try calling last night?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Okay, thank you. And anything else?
I would like to,
Okay.
I would like to bring up 9.5, that council receives the email from the SPCA regarding changes to rodenticide use in Tuskegee.
Can we get a second?
Second?
Discussion? Marlon?
Do people use this in this area? I know that they've been using it in other places for rats and so on and so forth. Do we have rats?
Never seen one.
Or, and mice infestations and so on and so forth, and do people use that? I can see this being an issue
What do you mean an issue?
for animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killing them,
And it's a horrible way to go.
Horrible death.
Yes, and it would be quite accidental, I'm sure, to have a cat or a dog or birds or whatever. And I think that we should be looking for some other way, if we are using this kind of stuff, some other means.
Danielle?
I know, speaking from people in my block, it's not rodents that are the issue, it's squirrels.
But people do use that.
They do use that on squirrels, yes.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I had an infestation of squirrels in my shed. They ate through all of my deck chairs, all of my hammocks, all of my children's outside stuff, all of my camping gear, in a matter of 2 months. And then they also took all the pine cones off my tree and created a 20-pound nest that we had. Yeah, and there was a little family of 3 or 4 of them in there. And my husband did get rid of them. I don't know how he did it. But I can tell you, to replace the wood of my shed that they chewed through, all of the items in my shed that they ruined over a 2-month period between us putting up our Christmas stuff and taking it all out and then putting it all back, cost me well over $1,000 to replace everything. We're talking tents, hammocks, chairs, camping gear, and it was 3 squirrels.
So what would you like?
Well, nothing, I'm just saying, like, is there, what are the other options? I guess live traps, really, I guess, are
That's
basically,
the only thing we can use.
yeah.
Marlene, you had your hand up?
I would just like a letter of support for, isn't that what they want?
So you want a motion?
Yeah. Of support, advancing initiatives that greatly reduce the use of all rodenticides.
Barb?
To the SPCA.
I would like to put out there that we look, what is our policy? Is this something that Public Works uses or we use? Or what alternates could we suggest to our residents when they get squirrels, mice, whatever? Like, we have to have, if we're not going to support using this rodenticide, then we should have an alternate on information,
So you want Sandy to research that?
or maybe our bylaw animal control officer could research it.
Can make that one.
What would you like him to research, sorry? The use of, if we use it here in town?
We know it like an alternative, because I think my only concern is that for the people, as I said, squirrels are a big issue around where I live. We do live across from the field, and I wonder if that's, our neighbor behind us had the same thing. They ate a 2-foot hole in the roof of her shed, and You know, I know that she also had to get rid of them. Like, they are almost as bad as rats. And so my concern is that the villagers are gonna start using their own at-home made products to deal with these squirrels if we start banning these types of things. Because while it may be ugly and people don't like it, it is a part of living in a rural community.
So you made that motion?
Yes.
Can I have a seconder?
Second that?
All in favor? Anything else?
I was looking at 9.7.
That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm just quoting.
Okay, that council received the advertising bricks from Peace FM for information. Does council wish to have a season's greeting on radio? And have we done that previously? Or
Previously on council, that
didn't
we
put it on
have
paper.
donated, we didn't do it in the paper, we took that money and we donated it to the food bank.
But I thought we
Instead.
had a picture of us in the paper for Christmas. Santa.
This is not the paper,
No, I know.
this is the radio ad, and in past years, we have not done it in the last 2 years, because usually when we do it is the lead up to the parade.
Mhm.
We usually have a spot on the radio 10 days before the truck light parade that we do, and that's when we usually do our Merry Christmas and everything then. Since we haven't had a truck light parade in the last 2 years, we haven't done anything. They just sent me this, asked if we were interested. We didn't do anything last year, we didn't do anything the year before. We did a Merry Christmas in our newsletter, we put it on our Facebook, we put it on our webpage. That's what we did.
Sounds good to me.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. And then this Northern BC Crime Stoppers, anybody interested in that? Oh, sorry.
I know years ago, Ron Leachman, he used to run up something around Crime Stoppers in town.
Well, he tried here, but we couldn't get any volunteers.
We couldn't get any volunteers, yes, that's what I thought, because I remember talking with him about it with my own husband, and he was saying he was having a difficult time getting volunteers. This is something that he did try to kind of crowd start within the community, I think for almost 3 years. He worked pretty hard. So while I think it's a great idea, there comes that volunteer issue that we often run into with everything.
Okay. Anybody else? So bylaws none, administration report, CAO report, this isn't here tonight. 12.2 action items, is there any action items that we need to look at? So are these gonna be all in order? No, Sandy, these are what we're gonna do in order?
What do you mean, in order?
Well,
These are
one,
just the
two.
ones that come out, no, we're just numbering them so it's easier to reference in case somebody wants to talk about a certain line item. We just thought it would be easier to put numbers in there.
And we haven't heard anything on the needs assessment?
The housing?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, Ryan?
on line, or number 9, the letter to Treaty 8.
Says ongoing.
Yes, I realize that, but I have to apologize. I'm the one who put forward that we have acknowledgements to Treaty 8 before, well, during, or at the beginning of council meetings. My brother told me that when I was when I got out of council, he said, you have to remember there is no I, it's we. And I quite selfishly went forward not thinking of anyone or anything other than myself and wanting this acknowledgement and realizing just in the past while that not everyone understands the acknowledgement. It's supposed to be heartfelt and with understanding, and not everyone is there, and it has to be council that can feel that they are making that acknowledgement from the heart. And we have to realize that the community too needs to feel that this is a respectful thing to do. And I am truly sorry that I was thinking of myself at that time. I still want to keep the motion of acknowledging Treaty 8. I think a letter would be a little premature at this time. I feel that we need to understand Truth and Reconciliation document that was put forward. I think we need to understand the history.
The 57 action,
Pardon?
the action calls, the 57?
Yeah, sure. I think the letter was, it should be taken off of the action items for now until we truly understand.
No second?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, Marnie, Councillor
You're
Ebert.
welcome.
That was very well said. Thank you.
Okay. Capital special projects, we aren't talking about them tonight? Council calendar?
I had a library board meeting I was supposed to attend on the 16th, but it has been canceled, just due to members not being able to make it with Christmas season coming. Everybody's super busy, so they have canceled the meeting I was supposed to attend on the 16th. So my next one will be on the 20th of January.
Anybody else? No? Councillor Hebert.
I couldn't tell the museum. Maybe they'll come to the museum barbecue or hot dog dinner. Didn't hear back from us.
I didn't get to speak to the curator, so I did talk to some people, but I think it should be from him. Yes, it was very well attended, I understand.
Councillor Smith.
Yes, I received a letter in my personal mailbox under Barb Smith in regards to South Peace Health Council. And I'm wondering why I'm getting village business addressed to Barb Smith, not councillor, and it's not coming through council. So I brought it in today. They had a meeting tonight at 7 lunch. I reached out to Mayor of Dawson Creek and told him that I wouldn't be able to attend. But I'm very puzzled on why the information would be sent to my personal bottles.
Because they have already got their board members and you are probably just the person that donated to them. What's the letter say?
Please accept the notice and call for a special meeting of the South Peace Health Society. I don't know why.
Councillor Smith, were you not on the Southeast Health Society board as you, the member, not
No,
the
she
council
resigned.
member?
She
I
resigned.
resigned.
Everybody resigned on the 7th.
Oh, Well, that has nothing to do with the village.
Okay, so what's
So
the
it-
South Peace Health Council?
Well, it might have been them, but they didn't come to us for your address or anything. So
Okay.
they might have had your
Okay,
address
I
on
was
file
just
before.
puzzled.
Yeah, no,
That's
we
why I
did not give out your address.
Okay.
Okay.
So can you tell me when you were at the regional district and they voted, forget the recommendation 5, something about, liaisons attending things, can you explain?
I don't know what you're asking.
You voted it down, it was,
To do with the pool?
no, it was something to do with the directors. The directors coming to council, or I'll have to get the information again. Okay, I had it wrote down. Counselor Beach.
Well, I did attend the museum barbecue thing. I'm just throwing that out there. It was wonderful. They did a phenomenal job. And I went and found less myself and thanked everybody. And my children went and they had a wonderful time. My daughter got an elf from working at the library and has been dragging it all over town. It is like, it's breaking all the rules, not wearing masks at all. And it was a wonderful event that was put on by, yeah. So it was just wonderful. The library also took part in that as well, which was really, really great. So they were a huge help. They handed out hot chocolate and they made little bags for the kids and had little prizes and stuff too. I also did the Christmas lights. So I drove around and did those with my family as well. And this year, I keep hearing consistently from everybody that it's like, I don't feel like it's very Christmassy this year. I really don't have the Christmas spirit. I'm really not into the season this year. So I appreciated everybody who decorated because, there were less people who decorated this year than prior years. And they really stuck out for me because I've been hearing, even my own family is struggling to get into the Christmas spirit. Even I'm struggling to be festive and be excited about Christmas. So I wish I could have picked everybody. I did pick winners that have never won before. I really, I got a list from Sandy for the past 3 years, and I wanted to pick people who'd never won and who were first-time decorators, and so we had totally different people, and I was really happy to hear that some of them were quite excited to hear that they'd won. And yeah.
Did Marcel do it with you?
No, I got busy, so didn't.
No, he phoned me halfway through and was like, so do you need me to meet you? I was like, it's like 9:30.
Just about done.
I'm literally, I'm in town now. But yeah, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody that did decorate because there's been so many people that are struggling to feel the Christmas spirit this year, and those people that go above and beyond to do that, they really made my kids' whole night anyway. Like we went into Dawson and we did the whole thing, and we stopped by the mayor's house there and got a candy cane, and there were people out there were fans, that's what people were doing. There was a whole row of us at one point in time in Dawson, 4 cars just stopping outside of every. So it really did bring people out, which was, I thought was absolutely amazing, so.
Anything else?
No, just that.
You did something else?
I did.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh, yes, and I did, thank you. See, I did a lot of things in the past 2 weeks. I also attended the 30-year medal presentation for the fire chief, which it was so great. A lot of those guys, I don't really get an opportunity to go out and speak with them and say hi. And, that is definitely something I would like to do when there's not a big presentation and they're all just a lot more relaxed. But, it was really, really great to catch up with Blair and kind of connect with the members I did know and do still kind of know. And it was nice to see Councillor Woodall and the mayor there, and some of the staff from here showed up, so the village was very well represented. And a huge congratulations does go out to a player. 30 years is a huge deal. That's definitely big. I think that he should like sleep wearing it, so he like really wears it in. You know? Maybe he does. We don't know. He could have fireman jammas. You know?
We don't want to know.
We'll have to ask Wendy.
You ask Wendy.
Yeah.
Marcel?
Yeah, so, like Councilor Reed said, I attended, there the other night, to Chief DeVoe's 30-year medal. So that was awesome to see, a couple of guys in the fire department. Other than that, that's pretty much it. The only other thing I'd want to ask the council is the Firefighters Association tonight returned the gift cards that were given to them. Because they returned the gift cards that were given to them tonight. In general, from my understanding, is they don't feel well supported by council. Which is something, you know, a few of us are working on definitely. But I'd like to ask council that since they were returned to us, that we look at sliding those over to the food bank and they go to people that are in need.
I second that. Larry?
I know that the fire department feels like not all council supports them and feels that they're doing a wonderful job. And it doesn't matter how many times it's said that they are definitely appreciated and necessary within this village. And I understand that they have a position and we as council members have a position. And that is where the issue lies, is the positions that we have. It's not that they are not appreciated.
Well, I think that
I just wanted you to know that, and you can relay that. And I'm telling the camera as well.
Yeah, and I think the meeting on the 10th, when we start talking and start that opening that discussion about master service agreements, is a great time for all members of council to be there and express that in person to the members, or come in via Zoom if they're available to express that in person, because it makes a lot more of a difference to volunteers to be told in person that you're doing a good job than watching it on the camera.
Right.
I don't like attending huge things. I have reasons for being afraid of COVID.
Well, you're not.
And I don't go to big things indoors.
I'm sure it's something we talked to Sandy and Chris about. We can look at setting up a Zoom option for you so that it's safe and you can still attend.
Certainly.
But you have to have your picture on the Zoom.
I think talking to what Councillor Whittle said, as well as what Councillor Hebert is saying, my concern is that our volunteer fire department is going to base how much we value them off the budget that we pay to them every year. And I think that that's such a difficult position for all of us, because I know that they have great expectations and they work so hard and they want to do amazing things within our village. But I also know that our village members don't pay enough taxes, or there's not enough money in the village to be able to financially support all the amazing things they want for the fire department.
There's
and
lots
so
of grants.
there is grants, exactly. And so that's where I find I'm torn, because again, just like anybody else, I completely support them. But when it comes to the money aspect, you can't give money you don't have.
Well, that's where that discussion with master service agreement opens up potential
With
revenue.
the medical.
Yeah, with medical. It opens up a lot of potential for us, right? There's some options on the table come budget time that we can definitely look at that can, ironically enough, if you look at it the right way, can actually appease both parties, right? So,
I've been working with Leonard on that master's agreement for what, 3 years now? 4 years? And, well, they just got so busy with all the problems that regional district just kind of put on the side. And then our fire department also goes over the border. So we're looking at that because they go and help Tom's Lake up, right? So we were also looking at that as well.
Yeah, and so like with the, gift card thing, I was very sad to see that the fire department feels that way. And to have them return something and feel that the care behind it wasn't there, and that it was really like just a gift sort of given off the snuff does suck. And it is sad to see that. And so that's why I think the meeting on the 10th, having a special meeting with them is important, because while we can say our position holds us tight with where we are, we still have to hear where they're coming from and take into consideration how they're feeling. Whether we are able to do all the things that they're wanting, sometimes people just need to feel like they're heard.
So could we hold off with giving them to the food bank and maybe?
I think giving them to the food banks, a good use for them right now, and they've made their statement. They've said that they want to stay. I think moving them forward to the food bank to help people that need them is a good use for it. And we start fresh in the new year and go into the conversations on the 10th with an open mind.
I think also too, after the 10th and going into the new year, one of the best things our village can do is not just appreciate our fire department at Christmas and Remembrance Day and the
pizza,
but do it when it's not a special event. Do it when it's a random Monday. Do it often.
I take them pizza. I have.
But you're one aspect of us. It would be nice if it was coming from all of us.
Well, I was really shocked that we didn't have food over there for them on Monday night.
Well, I thought for
If I would have
sure.
planned it, I would have, ordered them.
I was very surprised that we didn't have like a card or something for Blair either. I was expecting like you to go up or something. And then when that didn't happen, I was like very surprised. I'm not going to I thought like maybe I should have personally brought him a card and said, but I thought that was under the village thing, but I guess because that wasn't on the agenda.
Next time,
Yeah.
Anything else? And anything to do with the fireball? Leonard gets invited, please. Next time.
It was not my place.
Who
It was not my place
to
to invite the fire department.
Well, Blair was shocked that he wasn't there.
Blair wasn't shocked that he wasn't there.
Well, I asked him.
I asked him to. But this was not me organizing this. Okay, this was not the village office organizing it. It was the fire department.
Okay.
Okay?
So, I got some interesting news here. I talked to CM. The property on the railroad line there is actually BC Rail owned, so they won't sell it. But they will lease it to us for walking track. And I said, well, would you lease it to us for $1 if we maintained it? Because you guys don't maintain it. I said, I have to bring that back to my council. So, mine.
So all of these regulations that have been put into place over the years, that railway line has been there for, I don't know how many years out of this. And what has been spilled up there on those?
It's not our responsibility. They still own the land.
They still own the land, but do you want people walking on
Well,
it?
they do now. Danielle.
Talking to what Mayor McKenny said, my children and Councillor Whittle's children have a fort in that field. We call it the tetanus fort because everything in it is rusty. But that's because right now it's not being maintained, but kids bike in there. I live right across from it. Kids are in there constantly and people walk their dogs. I walk my own dog in there every night.
How long been on that? Lived up there since 1960?
That's right.
Yeah.
The field
Been
is,
there, done that.
the field is already being used,
But it's not getting maintained.
but it's not getting
And it's a
maintained.
fire hazard. So this way, if we could get it from them for a walking trail, at least the fire department or public works or the residents can help maintain that.
And what would you do with the railway line?
That would be the walking trail.
The line?
Yeah.
Would you just gravel it in? Sorry.
There's a guy that actually builds them for CN. Like he sells them or negotiates and tells us what you need to do for the rail line.
I think that would be great. And it's no traffic, to walk your dog, take your kids on a bike.
So with that, would we be looking at the full stretch from, say, basically just this side of the bridge all the way up to over where
Trombley
the Trombley Trail is?
That would
Okay,
be
yeah,
the
so then
farthest
people
we
could walk
could
all
go.
the way up to the park and stuff.
Well, if we went into the farmer's field, then we'd have to have a lease agreement with the farm.
Well, yeah, if we're into the Trombley Trail, then
Yeah,
yeah, that's good
so,
enough. 'Cause-
so I just said to the Trombley Trail.
yeah, because it's a nice biking path or walking path for people to get from the with ball.
But we
lanes
also have
and
a
stuff.
regional district, walking trail
Oh yeah, that's mine.
in the works, and it's been in the works for 6 years, and we were to use this line, and Chris, when Chris was doing the negotiations, he said they wouldn't sell it. But now they'll lease it, so.
So yeah,
That's
something that-
exciting. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
if you guys want me to continue to do the negotiations?
Yes.
Do you need a motion for that?
Yes, I need
I'll make a motion that Member Katie continues negotiations with CN for the walking trails.
I'll second that.
Second that. All in favor? And then I talked to Ministry of Highways. We're gonna possibly have a traffic study for our 2 crosswalks on the highway. And the traffic study will be again in the spring. And I asked him if he had already seen the traffic study. He didn't know, he was going to look into it, so. Very nice gentleman to deal with, Chris, or Marcel,
I
sorry.
was just gonna ask, can we get the dates of that so we can send all our children to walk across the highway about 16 times each?
A drive.
And yeah, get people driving,
We
right?
need
So
to
it's
drive,
like-
we need to drive as many vehicles as possible across those crosswalk areas so that it'll.
Would they notice if we put a bulletin
I don't know,
out?
I'm sure if we see Mary Katie going around the block 16 times in an hour.
I'll change vehicles, I get enough of them. But so if you want me to continue to do that,
Yeah, I
You need a
will put the motion forward that, we,
You just make that motion?
There you go.
yeah, that we
continue.
continue with the, yeah, traffic study happening in spring.
And I'll second on that.
Second?
All in favor? And then I went to the museum, and I'd like to thank the museum board and the library board. It was wonderful. I helped a little girl cook her hot dog. It was so cool. And then Blair's 30-year pin. Congratulations. It was wonderful. So now we are going into in-camera.
Just before we do, oh, sorry. Speaking on, I was thinking also about with the museum, barbecue that had happened out here. Is there any way we could put in like an emergency light or something, or a light on the side of the building? After you left, this was like after you were there, we had 2 kids wipe out in the playground because it was so dark and had quite bloody faces.
Okay, so have we done our inventory for our BC Hydro this year yet?
Nope.
Do you know when that would be taking place?
As soon as I can coordinate it with Public Works.
So did you get the Bob Gammer email?
Paul Gammer?
Yeah.
No, I have the one from the lighting people with the inventory list, but that's the last one I've got.
Okay, because Bob Gammer has grants and stuff like that for BC Hydro. And so maybe reach out to Bob, or I can reach out to Bob and talk to him and see if we can get some more lighting downtown here.
Well, even if it's not like putting up a light post, even if we put a bit of light on the side of the building that's, Blasting into
like
there.
in my backyard, yeah.
yeah, that would be, as I said, my kids were out there running around playing too. There was like a whole, stuff. They're kids, like they made the hot dogs and then they ran off to the park, but it was so dark. So parents were kind of taking turns starting their cars
To turn the lights on.
to turn the lights on. But
No, there's a poster at the corner. I don't think
It's on
there's
the corner, but it's so.
And it's going the other direction.
yeah, it
Lights out.
goes, yeah, and so it was there were a few children that sort of like were tripping over and we were kind of saving them, and there were 2 that didn't get pretty hurt. One was in the bathroom in the museum.
So if we get some lighting over there,
Yeah.
put some lighting up, maybe talk to BC Hydro, see if they can put some lighting up, or
Okay.
we can buy my light was $300.
Yeah,
And then I had an electrician install it, and it looks, well, when you drive by there, it looks like an airplane could land there.
yeah. Do you need like a motion for that, Sandy?
Yes, please.
I'd like to put a motion forward that we look into getting some lighting with BC Hydro or
Or
whatever.
lighting.
To light up the park, please.
A motion sensor?
Well, the only issue with the motion sensor, I thought about doing that, but because it would be so far from the park and with that fence, I don't think it would pick up the
All
motion.
along here is dark.
Yeah, so it would almost need to be one that would be patched into the building that's kind of running all the time.
And you're talking about this part here, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the long here said, like, it's dark. Like, we had a hard time. If it wasn't for the fires, we wouldn't have seen anybody, really. It was really dark.
Yeah, it was very dark, I'm gonna be honest.
Right?
Yes, and there has been members of the public that have said that our streets are extremely dark.
Yeah.
So,
And so, yeah, maybe
So maybe add on to that
add
motion,
on the
Park and Main
all
Street.
the way down.
Yeah,
Especially when it gets dark by 5, 6 o'clock.
you know, I know we don't
I'll have to
host,
look into the cost, but
yeah,
yes.
I know we don't host a lot of winter events, but you know, at the same time, with the winters we had, they
Well,
are
even
getting
if the kids
warmer.
are over there playing at night, we need lighting.
Yeah.
So we have, in camera, as per section 91G of the community charter, litigation of potential litigation affecting the municipality.
That would be the late item.
And then in camera, as per section 91K of the community charter, K, negotiations, related discussions respecting the proposed provisions of the municipality service that are at the preliminary stages and that in the view of council could reasonably be expected to harm the interest of the municipality if they are held in public.
Second.
Carol Becker? And Smoke?
Are you taking a 5-minute